first met him? Gosh, that was so many years ago.
Actually, my first impression was pretty good. I didn't even realize he was the CEO.
His expression was hard to read. He's sitting right in the back and he's just staring right at you like this.
George has this Clint Eastwood vibe to him.
He really liked his numbers and he was very particular about how they were presented.
I had the wrong impression of him. He's tough, he's dedicated to the employees, to this company, but he's a good person with a great heart.
What I learned from George is when you present a project, it has to be on a one-pager only.
To not take things personally.
He takes time out for those little things.
What I most admire about George, let me put it this way. If he were a singer, he would have an amazing vocal range, from working at a very high level, strategic, to right down to the finest details.
He seems to do everything pretty effortless, you know. He is great at his work, and yet he seems to have a really active social life. He's athletic, he's got a wonderful family. He just seems to have it all, and he holds it together really well, so I really admire that.
I think George is the most honest, forthright person that I've ever met.
I admire George's character.
His energy. Yeah, you can just see it at work, you can see it even when he's on vacation. He's always out climbing a mountain or something like that, so I love that energy.
What I admire about George is his passion for the business and his work ethic. Some of the executives have told me that they worry when he goes on, quote, vacation to Arizona, because they know that when he gets there after his golf game, they're going to get a flurry of emails and to-dos while he's, quote, on vacation.
His tenacity and his focus on our business. He is the most driven and the most focused individual and the most passionate individual about our business of anybody in our organization.
My favorite memory working with George is George at various events getting up and hitting the dance floor as soon as the dancing starts.
Not many people stepped up to pie you in the face. You know, George was just like, come on, dude, let me have it, right? He didn't think it was enough the first time around when I did it. So it just, he's a good sport.
Sure, there's been thoughts of me in the past where I wanted to do that, but I actually had an opportunity. And I have to say it was very rewarding.
The 5 kilometers run, that was a year ago, so I think that was a great time. So.
I think in retirement, not only should you keep golfing and cycling, but you also need to start sitting on some boards.
Line dancing.
By a company or invest in something novel and different.
I think George should become a yoga instructor. I think he could really just kind of, you know.
Being a triathlete, I'm trying that.
Golfing. Get better than Greg.
He should be a golf instructor. Teach some of the young guys to golf. Or some of the old guys like me.
He should take up the card game Bridge. It's full of tactics, you have to signal to your partner, and it requires a poker face.
Well, whatever it is, it's going to have to use a lot of energy, because he seems like an ever-ready bunny to me.
After a long day of work, George will usually have a workout no matter what time of day.
Pours himself a drink.
Rides his bike.
Has a cold beer.
Exercise.
Exercise and then a cold beer. That's probably the right order.
Gets home and gives Chris a big hug and kiss.
George would usually have a coffee with a little bit of milk, oat milk or cream, and 1 sugar.
1 sugar? I thought that he had cut sugar. Okay.
I think he's a strong coffee person.
I thought he likes tea.
It's 1 milk, 2 sugar, because he's not a coffee drinker. He's really a tea drinker. And so he needs a lot of sugar for that coffee.
Well, Chris made him quit sugar, so I know he used to have sugar in it, but I think it's just coffee with a milk.
Medium regular?
1 milk, 1 sugar.
That's a medium regular.
Okay. Sure.
For your millennials that don't go to Tim Hortons.
George doesn't have any favorite people that he likes to golf with at work.
Peter.
Jacques.
Probably Carla.
The guy with the little goatee, fit-looking guy.
IT guy.
Greg.
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 Greg, I would think, would be, he's a guy that challenges him competitively.
George's favorite show right now is on Netflix, and it's called Halt and Catch Fire. It's a show about the development of the computer industry.
So I'm watching something fun. Very exciting. Okay, I never would have guessed that.
I didn't even know George watches TV.
You should also veer out and try some of the other cooler shows, but yeah, that sounds a bit like George, yeah, wanting to always learn.
I would never have picked that. I don't even know what that is. I've never seen it.
Thank you, George, for all the time you've spent guiding me through the board meetings and professionally at Knowledge First. I've really enjoyed working with you, and I'm going to miss you lots.
It's hard to be a working mom. He really helped me balance both of those and have a really good work-life balance, and I know that my family really appreciates that, and I know that I will always be so grateful for that.
You know, it's been a real pleasure. I've learned a lot. We've had a lot of successes here together, and you've brought us to a point where we never reached, and you've left us in a position to win.
Hi George, I just want to say thanks for the fabulous 7 years that we had together. You helped the leadership team to put, with all the initiatives, to put Knowledge First in a fantastic position for the future. And without your leadership, I don't think that will have happened.
Have an incredible retirement. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. I hope it's amazing. I hope you enjoy every minute. It has been a true pleasure to work alongside you and help grow this business.
We have done so much. It's fantastic. I'm so happy that you're retiring at this point, because we're in a bit of a high point right now. You'll be able to look back and see all the things that you accomplished here, and I really hope, I wrote in my notes, even in your book, I hope we can keep up with that, and you can always look back and say, I was part of that.
Well, George, it's clearly been a really pleasurable and terrific experience working with you. I've learned a lot from you, and we've accomplished a lot together, you and I. But make sure you get lots of golf and spend lots of time with Chris, and enjoy this next chapter of your life. And I wish you all the best. And thanks for everything you've done for me, and thank you for everything you've done for the organization. You've made Knowledge First a better place for everybody to be at, and you should really be proud of that fact. So thank you very much.
I sincerely hope that the next chapter for you is exciting and fulfilling as this last chapter has been at Knowledge First, and I really wish you the very, very best.
George, thanks for your dedication to our business and your passion for the last 11 years. By your determination and by paying attention to the building blocks of the business, you've taken the level of our business up at least a couple of levels.
So George, you're finally going to be retired. I think you can probably figure out that in your office, it took COVID to actually get you to not come into the office on a daily basis. You finally will have the opportunity to take more than 2 weeks of holidays, which you've never had, I would say, since we've been married. So we're quite looking forward to that. And I hope you feel the pride that our entire family feels for you, and all the things that you've taught our children, your commitment to work and your hard work. And I hope you can have an opportunity to finally take some time for yourself and do the things you love to do.
It's been a really good journey with him, and I will miss him. I don't want to get too, because then I'll start, so I just, you're not gonna put that in.